Hello, my name is Sushma, and today I wanted to show you how I make recipes or raw food for the dogs. It's really simple. A lot of people said, it's too difficult or it's too overwhelming to feed your dogs raw food. Folks, I just want to say one thing, and that is we inherited the dogs, I'm gonna say about mid-November. We inherited them mid-November. For a week or so they were on Kibble. We had an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old, and the second week we started feeding them raw food. So raw food does not have to be perfect. Let me switch off this stove here. Raw food does not have to be perfect in the early going. Just understand that dogs are enormously flexible. And if they've been getting kibble, kibble is anywhere from 50 to 80% carbohydrates. So what they will do is, even in the no grain kibble, they'll put in tapioca and cornstarch and such. And what they will do is they will say the ingredients are as follows. There's a protein or two in the beginning, and then they say cornstarch, tapioca, this, that, and the other. By the time you add up all the carbs, there's a whole lot more carbs in the kibble than you thought. You thought you were giving your pet a lamb and rice kibble with mainly lamb, but you're really giving them mainly carbohydrates. And our older dog's teeth are completely gone. She's 11 years old, and half her teeth on this side are gone, half her teeth on that side are gone. And as it is, dogs don't have cud chewing ability, and you're giving them starches. So it's very hard. The dogs do not have adequate digestive enzymes to digest carbohydrates. So a lot of dogs get pancreatitis on kibble, on a kibble diet. And today we have an epidemic. We have an epidemic of diabetes in dogs. We have an epidemic of cancer in dogs. 1 in 2 dogs are going to die of cancer. There's like a 900% increase in diabetes just in the last few years for dogs. And people love their dogs so much. People love their dogs, and they want to, hi Joseph Delgado, hi Linda Heron, they want to feed their dogs food that'll make them companions for the rest of the dog's life. And what we're finding is dogs lived about an average of 17 years in the 70s, and now the average lifespan of a dog is 10-11 years if you're lucky, with a lot of trips to the vet. So dogs get a lot of these diseases, the itises, the dermatitis, the arthritis, the cancers, the diabetes, the gastroenteritis from eating bad food. And the kibble is not cheap. If you thought about it, if you get the high-end kibble, it's pretty close to buying raw food, the lower quality raw meats. And so another thing I wanted to say was that in the high protein kibble, they put in all sorts of very toxic meats. It is completely unregulated. This is completely unregulated. They put in D4, D3 meats, which is euthanized animals, sick animals, chickens with their wings missing. They take seconds from stores that are tossing stuff out, and they don't even remove the paper covering or the plastic covering. All of those go into this vast garbage bin of Purina or whatever, cat chow, dog chow, and we are feeding our beloved pets these things. No wonder they're scratching themselves crazy. No wonder they've got tumors all over their bodies. No wonder they can't digest their foods. They have severe diarrhea. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what I do for my raw food. I have a formula for raw food, and you can get it from any site. And let me pull my formula off the fridge. I need to turn the camera for this. Here's my formula. It's stuck on the fridge, and these are the doggy ratios that we've come up with. 60% muscle meat, 20% fat, 5 and 5 organs and glands, 10% bones, eggshells, etc. You want to give your dog between 1 and 3% of their body weight in food. So these are these are small dogs. Let me turn the camera back to me again. These are small dogs. One is 16 pounds, one is 22 pounds. And so, you know, we're giving them between 3 and 4 ounces. They probably need less meat than we're giving them right now. But this is early days. We're feeding them twice a day. And I think we're giving them between 4 and 6 ounces a day. I give them a combination of muscle meat, and I'm going to show you what the meat looks like. And it's high meat. I buy fresh meat, never frozen. It is rich with enzymes, and the dogs are just loving it. So let me show you what our fridge looks like, or the food in the fridge looks like. Here we go. This is beef. This was tri-tip, and it's not organic. It was like a couple, $2-3 a pound. You want to give them organic organ meats because that's where the poisons concentrate. But this is still regulated USDA meat. It does not have dead animals. It doesn't have many of the bad things that pet food does. So this is the muscle meat they're going to get. This is the fat from the tri-tip. Again, this is raw fat, which is a very different beast than cooked fats. Cooked fats are very, very difficult for a dog to digest. This here is liver, and as you can see, it's fermenting away. I put a little bit of sauerkraut juice in these things to get them to be fermented. So in the morning, I will give them in their little bowls about a third of a cup of this, about a couple of blobs of that, and that's heart. So I'll give them a little bit of heart, especially for Roxy, who's elderly, and a little bit of liver. So that's their muscle meat, organ meats, and glandulars. And here is the egg. This is how we cook our eggs and drop these eggs into a glass every day. Here's a glass that I had put eggs in. The white from the eggs is very precious. The membrane is very nutritious for the dog. And these are pastured organic eggs. And I make them, I make a crumble from these. I'm not gonna turn it on, but in a little coffee grinder. So that's bone. And I just throw in a little bit of this into their food. Let me open that so you can see. So that's egg crumble. They love it. And if your dog has runny motions, then you want to feed them more bone. That means it doesn't have enough bone, or reduce their fat. And once you get a hang of it, you will really learn how to do this. So to reiterate, we're giving them muscle meat, we're giving them the eggs, the bone, and about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of that. We're giving them organ meats, we're giving them heart, which is technically a muscle, but also an organ, so they're getting a very complete meal. These are dogs, excuse me, I've got a pressure cooker cooking away as well, and a mutton curry going here simultaneously. So these dogs are not going to get diabetes. I've already noticed great changes in their health. Roxy is much better behaved. They have got a little bit more muscle mass. They look skinnier, but they have more muscular bodies. They have way more energy than they used to have before. We walk for miles, we run for miles, and of course, exercise is very, very important. And let me tell you roughly what the meat, we bought it for $2 and something. So we rotate our protein. Sometimes it's beef, sometimes it's pork, and you can do other proteins as well. You can do, if you have a hunter in your family, you can get a lot of free meats from them. You can get scraps from the butcher, you can get, chicken on sale, or if your store is giving away things that are past their due date, you can use those. What I do, and I'm gonna show this to you in the fridge, is I get a whole bunch of beef. Look at this. This is about 20 pounds of beef, and this will last us for we reckon about 45 to 55 days, depending on how the dogs eat. So these are aging in the fridge right now, and they will age as time goes by. So they will turn into fermented meats, very digestible, extremely extremely good for their enzymatic action. So these meats practically digest themselves. And our older dog who has no teeth, all she has to do is eat this, I mean, not even eat, swallow these, and her system is already becoming healthier because she has got no teeth. And remember, dogs have a pH of 2 in their stomach. If they eat this kind of meat, or if they're on a carnivore or a raw meat diet, their digestion, they digest their foods in their bodies in about 5 hours. That's how less of a strain it places on their digestive tract. But if you feed them carb-loaded meals, the food stays in their intestines for close to 15 hours. The older dog was getting a lot of diarrhea and runny poop because dogs are simply not equipped to handle the kind of carb load that even the best of kibbles have. So now you know how simple it is to make raw doggy food. In the morning you get up, you give them this combination. You give them this combination, a third of a cup of muscle meat, a little blob of fat, a small teaspoon or so of organs and glands, and about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of the eggshell. And depending on your dog, I do add kraut juice to their water, and I give them half of a garlic clove divided between the two dogs to deter ticks. And yes, garlic is dangerous in large quantities, but in small quantities it's therapeutic. They smell funny, and boy, they get ticked where we live. We are in Tick City here in Sebastopol. The other thing is we let them run free now, and if they're going to run free in bushes, they're going to catch ticks. The standard tick medicine is a pesticide. It's a terrible pesticide that accumulates in their bloodstream, and over time is going to cause a lot of neurological impairment. The collars contain pesticide as well. So between the vaccines, the heartworm medicines, which are not necessary if you take good care of your dogs, and if your dogs have a healthy immune system, and if there's no mosquitoes. So folks, think about the diseases your dogs are likely to get before you shoot them up with vaccines, with prophylactic drugs, with therapeutic drugs ahead of their actual disease. They'll just get healthier. If their digestion improves, everything else is going to improve. And by giving them a raw, species appropriate diet, you're making it so your dog doesn't have asthma, doesn't scratch itself bloody, doesn't have diarrhea or gastroenteritis, is able to fight all diseases with its own immune system. Yes, Joseph Delgado, you're right. Nothing should be cooked. The garlic must be raw. And I literally put a teeny tiny piece, and I find that they attract far, far fewer ticks as a result. And we can give them a better life. They can run in the bushes free. When I look at Travis, he is so joyful when he runs up and down mountainsides. The price is ticks. And if you're going to give them tick medication, the price of that is demyelination of their nerve cells. And down the road, you're going to have demented dogs, dogs with Parkinson's, MS, all the things that we humans suffer from. The other thing I would recommend along with that is if they came off of a kibble diet and were scratchy in the early going, wash their feet because stuff is coming out of their skin and their bodies with iodine and vinegar, and they will get much better. Their coats will get sleeker, and they'll be just all in all better dogs. So this was a presentation, this was a short video on how to feed your dogs raw food, and it's not scary, it's really simple. You cannot screw it up. At worst case, you're giving them USDA or not organic but human grade food, and best cases they'll get 5 to 7 extra years of life. Their cancers will cure themselves, and you will not have to spend thousands of dollars at the vet. Joseph Delgado gave a very good tip. Add a little coconut oil or flax oil to the mix. Yes, for scratching, etc. The fats are excellent, and the dogs love them. I want to show you the raw butter. I have some raw butter here, and I take a bit of, it's expensive, it's like $20 for this pint, raw cultured butter, and the dogs just love it. Now they've gotten hooked on it, so if they see me eating the raw butter, they want it too. It's a little expensive for dogs, but if you want to give a dog medicine, give them raw butter. Raw butter will fix ailments you did not even know your dog had. Once you see the dog sleep better, be happier, less anxious, and so on, you'll be a happier person too. And the other thing is, my strong belief is, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you're giving your dog pesticides, folks, those pesticides are coming to you through their skin, through their breath, through their paws. If you give your dogs terrible, terrible sick-making foods, cancerous foods, if you're giving them vaccines with viruses in them, guess what? Who's going to get them next? And in some sense, it is meant to be. If you feed them bad food, the effects are going to be visible not just on their health or your health. Yes, Joseph, please share this presentation with your animal wellness group. No problem. The main intent of this was to get you to not fear making your own home cooked, not cooked, you're not even cooking it, your own home raw meat, and stay away from the corporate kibbles, from the Purinas, from the whatever other chows are out there. Here's to your health, and here's to your dog's health more than even your health. A happy dog is a happy and healthy you. Have a great Christmas today.